For the last week or so, I've been delving into a little free-to-play game called Warframe.
Oh, I think everyone's heard of this one before.
Well, it's been in the news recently because they've updated it with a massive, open world environment, which it never had before. It's mostly mission-based, Warframe is. And basically, what Warframe is free-to-play third-person action shooter stealth, basically. Warframes are... They're kind of like your character class. Each Warframe is basically like a skin that goes over your character.
Yeah.
And is different to all the others. It's got different powers, different abilities that you can unlock as you play through and upgrade the Warframe itself. And it's basically there's a story in it. I've only played it a bit. I have no idea what the fuck's going on. The thing that caught me off guard when I first brought this up was I was like, I'm going to play this Warframe. I'm going to see exactly what it's about. People are going on about it. And I loaded it up, and I installed it, and it said, playtime, 105 minutes. And I sat there for a good 5 minutes staring at this going, when the fuck did I play Warframe? I don't remember this. I loaded it up, I got a character, I'd already set my name, I'd done everything.
I can fulfil this mystery for you because you played it with me back in 2013.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
That's the last time I played Warframe.
Is it?
Yeah.
I genuinely had no recollection of me ever playing Warframe.
And the general experience that we had then, from what I can remember, was like, meh, because it's all kind of the same stuff. Like, I think the only thing that differs is, I think, is each level like procedurally generated?
No.
I'm fairly certain it is.
Each level is not procedurally generated. The mission structure and the enemies change. Depending, but the maps usually stay the same, depending on where you are, which planet you're on, and stuff.
It's beginning to sound a lot like Destiny.
I'm going to be brutally honest. Here we go. Destiny is fucking boring, and I hated it. Warframe, I really enjoy.
Oh, okay.
I'm actually really enjoying Warframe currently. One, it's third person, so it feels a bit more like first person. Platforming has never really been great.
No.
Whereas in third person, obviously, you can get a gauge of where your character is. You see his feet. That's a good thing. You can see his legs. You know where you're going to land. And there's a lot of abilities in Warframe that allow you to run, jump, wall run. And there's a lot of movement style abilities, parkour kind of thing going on. It's really quite cool. And what with the different Warframes and how each individual one changes depending on which mods and stuff you put in them, which upgrades you would. There's got to be 20 different Warframes at the moment, and that's not including prime versions of Warframes, which are upgraded versions that you can find in the world. And the good thing about Warframe is it's a free-to-play game with microtransactions that has no pay-to-win whatsoever. There is no pay-to-win. You can't buy any of the Warframes. I mean, I think you can. I think you can buy the Warframes, but they don't, because they're only play styles. It doesn't change up how difficult the game is. You can't buy a more powerful Warframe. It's just the fact that these powers are different to these powers.
As a case of just buying it instead of unlocking it.
And I think you can I think you can unlock virtually every single Warframe via blueprints, which you get by just playing the game itself. Same goes for weapons. You can't you can just find the weapons, or you can build them via blueprints and just gather the things that you need. There's nothing in this game that I have found that would give you an edge, basically. I don't think you can outright buy the best weapon.
I suppose the only edge would be with your traditional online games would be a person that's been playing longer.
Exactly, yeah.
I guess.
And because Warframe is a cooperative game more so than it is a competitive game, it doesn't really matter that much that someone's at a higher level than you, because they can jump into your game and help you out with your missions. Yeah. And you could I think you can join theirs, although that might be a bad idea if they're 10 levels higher than you, because I was 2 levels within the bracket for a certain mission, and it has these special enemies called Eximus that they throw at you, upgraded enemies, and whooping my ass. They're at least 10 levels higher than the average enemy, because they're meant to be like a mini boss, but wow, it's hard. It gets hard quite quickly. So it definitely feels like there's a bit of grind there to do. But I'm really enjoying the way it looks and the way it plays. And I'm really impressed, actually, because this is made by Digital Extremes. and these are the guys that made Dark Sector for the Xbox 360, which was a game I played where it was a bloke with a weird metallic arm with a glaive, and you fought like a giant gorilla and stuff like this. It was a really weird game, and it earned its name Dark fucking in abodes because it was fucking pitch black. You couldn't turn the brightness up, and if you turn the brightness up on your telly, it didn't really change anything. It was just dark. It was a really dark game. And then they made The Darkness 2.
Ah, shit.
Yeah,
did they?
These are the guys that made Darkness 2, which I enjoyed thoroughly.
Yeah,
Not as much as
brilliant.
the first one, because I think the first one had a far better story, but
Yeah.
Darkness 2 had the gore, the proper good gore,
Yeah.
with the cartoony visuals.
I thoroughly enjoyed Darkness 2, actually.
And I think they've done a spectacular job in moving to the free-to-play market and making this game. It's got tons of content. I mean, I haven't got there yet, but this Plains of Icondon or something like that, I can't remember the name fully. It's apparently just an open-world map with a ton of stuff in it, including like super-sized giant monsters that you can just jump in with friends and fight. It's like Monster Hunter, basically, and it's free. It's completely free. It comes with the game and you can buy like editions of the game, or you can just play the free game and start from scratch, like I've done. And I'm genuinely considering putting money into it. It's actually that good. I'm enjoying it.
That's the way to draw the crowd in, as it were.
Yeah.
If you want the public or the gamer, the average gamer, to buy something on a fucking game,
Make a good fucking game.
Yeah.
That's it's as simple as that, isn't
Yeah.
it? Really, you just make a really good game.
That doesn't require the purchase of it.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't require, because like there's a Warframe called Hydroid, and I am foaming at the bits to get it because it looks like Cthulhu, and I'm just like, I need Cthulhu. I need Cthulhu Warframe. I need him now, and so I think you can defeat a boss on a planet like Neptune. I think if you defeat the boss on Neptune, you get the blueprint to design the Warframe itself, and then all you got to do is go around Neptune fighting like other bosses, and you get the bits of kit that you need to craft the Warframe itself. You can do that, or you can just, I think you can buy the blueprint or the currency for it and just buy it outright.
Yeah.
And I'm genuinely considering buying it because
do you think like people like EA have I know I've heard recently that they've tweaked the whole sort of loot box thing. Do you reckon? Yeah, it's because it's not working so well, or the backlash?
Well, EA changed the loot box system. You want about Star Wars Battlefront? Yeah, they changed the loot box system due to the backlash that came about when people started playing the beta. Because obviously, when the beta rolled out, it was revealed that your level didn't affect what you got at all. You didn't unlock anything via level. You just leveled up. That was it. Everything that you got for a character came out of a loot box, and that included the weapons and the tier cards, and that's all of the cards as well. And it also meant that people could randomly get a loot box from playing a match and get the highest level card for a character and immediately have an edge on everybody. And I believe you read up more so on this than I did.
Yeah.
About what changes they actually made to the loot box system.
It's, from what it sounds like, I think it was one of the guys from Dice's came out or whatever. Because the cards are sorted into tiers, the top tiers will no longer be available in loot boxes. You'll only be able to craft them in-game. Because crafting cards in-game is supposedly a thing.
It is. It's fucking dog shit in Star Wars Battlefront 2. Because you get very, very little resources, and the cards cost a lot.
We'll move it down to this thing that's slightly not as shit.
It's not as shit, but it's still a bit shit.
So that's the bit that I think was fully confirmed.
Yeah.
From what else was said, it seems like certain tiers of cards will only be usable at certain levels,
which is
so at
better.
least you've had to put the time in before you can use something. Instead of walking in day one and being like Han Solo, shooting everybody first.
Do you know whether they mentioned if they were taking weapons out of the loot boxes? Because to me, that's just egregious as balls. It's that instead of like because I know it's not standard, and I think that's what they're going for. It's not standard, you know what I mean? But keeping your character's weapons locked in loot boxes, it's it's just silly.
Yeah.
It's just because like you look at the weapon list and you think, I know that in the beta they only had 2 per class, and you could, I think the first loot box you got unlocked the weapons for each of the classes. But I know in the main game there's going to be more weapons. But if you're locking them all behind random loot boxes, I mean that's just, what is that? Well, like you just spend all your time playing the heavy class and you see a weapon on the list and you're like, wow, that looks really cool. It's got better damage, it's slower rate of fire, and the reload's a bit slower, but the damage is up there that I would actually swap that out, and I want to test that. I want to give that a go. I'll wait until my next loot box and cross my fucking fingers.
Nah.
Because why can't you just have these things like it's always been? Just unlock them due to play. Have it set at a certain level, or do what Black Ops did and have it set at a certain level, but unlock the crafting currency and craft the weapon in game.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's possible that might be the case, that you can craft the weapons in game. I don't really remember. I only spent like a couple of hours with Battlefront 2 before I, nutted my desk and turned it off.
Well, we have an update. So I've actually bothered to Google it so I could read it properly. So, like I said, the Epic Star cards, which allow you to use extra abilities or weapons, will no longer be confined to loot crates. So you'll either have to craft them or acquire them by buying the deluxe editions of Battlefront 2. Pretty standard, see that a lot these days. You'll have to increase your in-game rank in order to upgrade your star cards using crafting materials, which are still found in loot crates.
Yep, naturally.
But the majority of class-based weapons will be unlocked through regular play as that class.
Ah, there we go. That's
which
better.
Is better.
That's a lot better.
There will also be loot crates limited to certain classes, which will include parts and star cards to create new items and gear with.
Okay. So it sounds
better.
It sounds like they're at least trying to make amends for the clusterfuck that was the beta. Because gameplay-wise, Battlefront 2 really fun. But in everything else, the shell that surrounded the chocolatey interior was made of fucking horse crab armour and shit. It was awful.
Yeah. I mean, we've spoken about it before, but basically summarised, at the end of the day, it is about money, and it'll always be about money.
Oh, yeah.
I think
always.
This was the executives up top just pushing it, seeing what happens, seeing what people are going to react to.
Yeah.
And if no one reacted as harshly as they did, I'd imagine it would still be in there like that now.
Yeah.
But
as a brief aside, I would like to say Blizzard can suck my nads for what they came out with at BlizzCon, which was they don't believe they should be involved in the whole loot box controversy. They don't think they should be contained in the whole thing and what's happening currently with the whole microtransactions and loot boxing games. Fuck you, Blizzard. You fucking started it, you bastards. It was your... If Overwatch wasn't as popular as it was, loot boxes wouldn't be as popular as they were. We wouldn't have loot boxes in single-player games like Shadow of War or Assassin's Creed Origins. It wouldn't have taken off. But because Overwatch took off like it did,
everyone else was like, "Oh,
they're on about
man."
like 30 million players concurrent right now, which is an insane amount of people to be playing one singular game.
Yeah.
And they're sitting there going, "Oh no, it's not us. We didn't start this. We fucking did."
So just to clarify, your issue's not with loot boxes in games. It's loot boxes in games that you've had to pay for the game in the first place.
Yeah, it's basically fee to pay. You pay for the main game, and then inside the game is shite that you have to pay for.
In order to complete the actual game.
Like, I know people out there always dole out the same fucking crap. Like, they always say, "Oh no, it's only cosmetic items. It doesn't affect the game." But the trouble is, these are literally things that are being built on psychological profiles. They're after people with addictive personalities. People that go, "Oh, that character's got a really nice skin. They've got a legendary. I haven't got that legendary. Maybe if I I'll just buy 10 crates. I'll just buy 10 crates." And I'll see what I get. And then they don't get it because it's random. And in Overwatch especially, it's even more fucking up the arse because you get duplicates. So you'll open a crate and be like, ta-da, there's 3 duplicates and 1 item which is like a fucking voice line for a character that you couldn't give a toss about. And so you end up it's basically just a horrible... It's a vicious cycle. You go, "Oh, I'll just buy another 10.
Can you do
I'll
anything
just buy
with your
another 10.
duplicates?
You can... As soon as you get a duplicate, it gives you gold. You get gold currency, but you get very small amounts. I mean, even if you've got like a duplicate legendary, you get like a third of what it's actually worth in terms of the gold currency or something like that. I don't think it's not quite half. You get a bit less. So to get another legendary, which costs 1,000 gold, I think you'd need to sell, or you'd need to have duplicates of at least 2 or maybe even 3 other legendaries before you got the amount of gold required to get the legendary that you want. Not including seasoned, like a special event legendaries, which cost 3,000 gold.
Oh, okay.
So you need even more, and you get like 15 gold for like grey items and 20 gold for like blue items, common items basically. So you don't get a lot for any duplicates. And these I've played Overwatch. I played like 70 hours of Overwatch or something like that. I've had a lot of loot boxes, and there's duplicates. As soon as you get to a certain level, duplicates all over the shop because you've got most of the stuff. It's only little bits that you haven't got, or the legendaries that come out in events. So it just kind of it's more of that push, that haves and have not, the kind of thing mentality that the games have got these days that really just kind of irks me.
Yeah.
If you're going to have that kind of system, do it like other games have done it in the past. Keep it free to play. Allow everyone to play your game and see that it is a good game, because Overwatch is a brilliant game. It is a genuinely really good game. But if they've had it free to play and then had that on top, that would have been fine, and they'd have made their money back in fucking droves. But this is Activision Blizzard, you know what I mean? They can't have that. They've got to have you pay for the game. You got to buy it first, and there's additions on top of that. So you got your standard, and you got your silver or your golds or whatever, and you get probably like a skin or something with the one up from the base game edition. And then inside the game, you've got the whole the loot box system where you can pay for 3, pay for 10, pay for 50, which are now costs. You can pay for 50 loot boxes, which costs like I think it's $32.99 or something like that. Would you imagine, even if you do that once, that's now 75 quid you've spent on the fucking game. Whereas you'd have probably bought 70 quid worth of loot boxes if the game was fucking free. See, mate, to me, it's just greed. It's just pure and simple greed.
Do you still play Overwatch?
No, I haven't played it in quite a while.
Boring.
They have brought out a character recently that's made me kind of think about going back and seeing how much it's changed.
Oh, it's Cthulhu again.
Not Cthulhu, no.
Oh,
It's an Irish bad guy called Moira. She looks quite cool. She's a healer. I like the direction they're going with her. She's quite cool. But other than that, they haven't really done anything as of recent, and it's really quite. Once you get into it, it's really quite a toxic game as well, especially if you play competitive. Like the community, some of them are lovely, some of them are bastards.
The majority of them.
You get that with any competitive game.
You do get that, but
Yeah.
because of how big Overwatch's player base is, you tend to find it more so than you would in you find it more so than you would in COD, and COD's a pretty toxic place to be.
Yeah, Dota's always the one that I think of.
Yeah,
If you turn up and you have no idea what you're doing, you've got so much anger
thrown your
directed
way.
your
Yeah,
way. It's just
same.
like-
Yeah, I know. The same with League of Legends as well, isn't it? As well,
Yeah.
there's that kind of mentality about it. It's like,
CS:GO as well.
why have you not put 1,000 hours into this? Die, prick. Sorry.
Yeah, it gets a lot worse than that from
Oh yeah,
things you've seen.
I'm not delving into some of the
Yeah.
shit I've heard.
Yeah, it's quite bad.
But basically, Warframe is a really good game. It's free to
It's
play,
Warframe.
and I think you should go into it and
Out
have
of
a little.
curiosity, what's the sort of like group size for doing
4.
the missions for?
I do believe it's 4, up to 4.
Because we did talk before about whether we try and do some Warframe for the YouTube, partially
I
because
think we
it's
could.
free and we don't want to spend loads of money on games that end up being crap and we only play for an hour. But it sounds quite interesting. Evidently, you two have played it before. Granted,
Yeah. Also, I would
4
like
years
because
ago.
it's been out since 2013. It runs like a dream. Like it's beautiful as well. I've got ultra on everything, and it runs beautifully. So I'm thinking, whatever your PC specs, you could run this game pretty well.
Will be
Because I
alright.
think it's been very well optimised. I mean, it should be after 5 years.
Yeah.
Be very well optimised. But it is, yeah. So yeah, that's
Well,
pretty
it
much.
might be worth thinking about something.
Oh.
Maybe do some videos.
I think it would
What
be
are
a
the
good
devil
idea.
nuts?